If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me. Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. We're back. We're back. Thank you so much for continuing to be a part of the conversation. You're still tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. I'm Collette. A little bit after 8 o'clock as you all are beginning your Friday, whether you're getting the children off to school, you're on your way to work, or you're just relaxing because you don't have to be anywhere yet. You still tuned in to us. Right before the break, we were talking about, first I started off the conversation about just the sex and power and what it looks like and all these quote unquote powerful men across the party lines, across socioeconomic lines are sitting down because of allegations and how did we get here? What does it look like for us? Specifically in this region, what does leadership look like for us? Are we prepared for who we want our next candidate to be or the next member to be to represent, to replace Congressman Conyers? Is that important to you? Does a pedigree mean anything? Does a name mean anything to you? Does previous experience mean anything to you? I presented what I thought was dissension amongst the group because I believe that that happens really well with us. We don't know how to work within the confines of us meaning family behind closed doors, and then come out with a united front. I believe that that is going to cause a major upset and create a free-for-all, frenzy, if you will, for any and everyone who's going to try to get in and run this seat, because I believe that shows a division in the Conyers name. But that is just my opinion. Do you think the same way? And right before the break, I was such a caller. Thank you so much for your kindness. And I want us to look at things a little different. I want us to always know that we have options. And the truth is, we don't have to be a part of the system. How's that? In the system, not of the system. Learning how to make the system work for us. And I believe that we can have a really good conversation around those things. It's a book I always tell you all about. It's called The King Whisperer. And it goes back to Rasputin and the like on times that there were individuals who were around who were the Geppettos to the Pinocchios of political leaders. And so all the times we think that we have the juice, that the person who has the title is the juice. Well, no, it's really the people. But you got to realize that that's who you are and take that position and create that role for yourselves. That's the truth of it. That's what I want us to do. We're the Geppettos to their Pinocchios. It's what we say. And so we got to be prepared because this congressional seat is huge. And so you have to really know what you're looking for and the type of candidate that you're looking for. So at the top of this hour, of course, the lines are lit. I'm going to go to them momentarily. I got him in the building. He's my hood research, if you will. No play on words, Miss Broden, this morning. He's in the building, 6'4". Great morning to you.
Thanks for having me again.
Always. It's a pleasure. So a lot of stuff has been happening. I watch your commentary on social media. Yeah. You keep it, he keeps it really gully. A lot of times there are things that perhaps I'd want to say that I couldn't say that he says. So, okay, have at it.
Well, no, it's just amazing how today we got all of these allegations, and amid the allegations is who they alleging.
Okay.
You got like John Conyers, our representative, representing the 14th for over 50 years.
Yes.
And, his service to that district has to be impeccable for them to continue to put him there cycle after cycle.
Yes. And stay there for a minute. And let me just be very clear. He made a good point. It's the perception of his service to the people that vote for him. It's what they deem important. It's what we deem important.
Exactly.
So what one person might say, oh, well, he's not doing enough of, clearly over the last 50 years, the group and the people in this region have said it's just fine for me.
He did something that they could point to and say, well, I'm happy with Mr. Conyers.
Yes.
He's not in my district.
Yes.
But being the civil rights icon that he is, or that they have labeled him,
yes,
I know just like him and others who do great work for us, it's for our people as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's like, well, this is only for the 14th.
Was that your Conyers voice?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I
That
think
was Conyers voice, right? I'm like, okay.
I play with it on my show.
Right,
But
right.
no, I don't think that. I think that when you black and you had that obligation to our people, you don't just represent that one district.
Okay.
You know that I may be the 14th district congressman, but
Yeah.
I am the congressman.
Yes.
Period for my people.
Yes.
And from what I was told, and I've met John Conyers on a
Yes.
few occasions, and he was always cordial.
Yes.
You know, and I just hate that something like this is happening to him at a time where he can't effectively and sufficiently himself defend himself.
Okay.
And I hate the fact that some white women have almost bullied people into not even questioning their motives behind such a long wait and got people so afraid to say why you wait 30 years. Let me tell you something. Nancy Pelosi has said that John Conyers need to step down.
Yes.
And she said, and these women, not just this one woman,
Right.
but these women, period, are brave.
Sure. But wait, stay right there. But that was after she said he was an icon.
Exactly. After she,
Oh, okay.
right, because that's what
Okay,
they
because I want to
always
be
do.
really clear that she said he
Yeah.
was an icon, and she was resting on his jock, and everything was all kumbaya for Conyers. Y'all like that, kumbaya for Conyers? It was all kumbaya, and then the tides turned.
Well, that's how they are.
Ah.
You know, they'll put you up in one sentence, and then in that same sentence before it's over, tear you back down because Nancy Pelosi really don't like a John Conyers. When they say stuff like he's an icon, they just going on abroad what they've been hearing.
Okay.
She really don't know much about what John Conyers have done because John Conyers ain't done nothing for Nancy Pelosi. She's a white woman. I mean, what could she really say John Conyers have done that affected her?
Huh.
She's had white privilege all her life.
Okay.
But she had said that the women are brave
Sure.
for coming out now.
Sure.
And I challenge that to say, no, that's cowardly. The brave woman is the one who said, listen, I turned down $10 million to do that movie, to turn that sucker in. That's the brave woman who turned down a fortune to make sure that no other woman will go through this.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just the bottom line.
Okay.
If something happened 30 years ago,
Okay.
and now you coming out for it, why are you so upset that people are asking you, what's your motive?
Well, because I finally got it together now. I finally got the strength in myself to come out with it. And I'm not belittling any of that. Just y'all be real clear. I'm not belittling. But maybe it took some time. This is what I need us to do. There's this clip that I want us to see, okay? It was off the heels of, it's Morning Joe. I want you to see it. We're going to come back. I want to get your opinion on it. We're going to go to the lines. Take a look.
It's interesting. As the ranking Democratic member of the House Judiciary Committee, the 27-term congressman, 27-term, made that announcement yesterday amid sexual harassment accusations. Conyers released a statement yesterday that read in part, quote, I deny those allegations, many of which were raised by documents reportedly paid for by a partisan alt-right blogger. I very much look forward to vindicating myself and my family before the House Committee on Ethics. His office recently confirmed paying a settlement of $27,000 to a former staffer who says she was fired for resisting the congressman's sexual advances. A senior Democratic aide tells NBC News that Conyers' decision to step aside comes after days of House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi working behind the scenes with Conyers and other Congressional Black Caucus members to lay the groundwork for him to step aside gracefully.
We are strengthened by due process. Just because someone is accused, and was it one accusation? Is it two? I think there has to be. John Conyers is an icon in our country. He has done a great deal to protect women, Violence Against Women Act, which the right wing is now quoting me as praising him for his work on that, and he did great work on that. But the fact is, as John reviews his case, which he knows, which I don't, I believe he will do. I believe that he will. Excuse me, may I finish my sentence?
Sure.
That he will do the right thing.
Do you believe John Conyers is accused?
I don't know who they are. Do you? They have not really come forward.
Look, I think it's really important that the words due process have come up in this conversation. Not that it's possible in every situation, but in this situation, every situation that we have covered over the past 2 months is different, except for maybe one or two. They all have different dynamics to them. They all have different levels of nasty to them or bad to them. And they all need to be treated differently. And I think this one breaks my heart. It really does.
How shocking. The word due process actually
Nancy Pelosi.
enraged some people yesterday.
Thank you.
Listen, there's something else bigger here, and I've even heard conservatives say this about John Conyers. First of all, I don't understand this slush fund that they have in Congress. I never knew about it. I'm sure you didn't know about it either. It's outrageous, and we need to get that open. Need to know what that's about, and need to know all the accusers. Also, I'm sure, let's just presume that the accuser was treated badly and get that to the side. But let's talk about John Conyers. I think Nancy Pelosi got in trouble for calling him iconic. Is that right?
An icon.
An icon. So I understand that in these days, in this environment, you're supposed to wipe everything out that anybody's ever done based on some charges that are put forward. I understand that. That's the climate we're in right now.
Especially if they're, yeah.
I understand that. I will say this, though. There's something bigger here with John Conyers. John Conyers 3 years ago had articles written about him from people who adored him, saying he should step aside because in 2014, I think it was, he went to the opening of an Arab American museum, and when he got up to talk, he was talking about Miles Davis and John Coltrane, rambling around. He's showing up in pajamas at meetings.
How old is he?
Somebody in his office needs to step in. They were talking about him having dementia several years ago. I know we're not supposed to talk about that when it pertains to the president and the fact that the president's skills mentally, if you look at interviews, seem to have diminished a great deal. That's objective. And 20 years from now, people are going to say, well, look how he talked in '99. Look how he's talking now. So please, save your shock for somebody else. I really don't give a damn what you think about what I said, because it's going to be said 10 years from now. So stop acting shocked. When it comes to John Conyers, the guy's showing up in pajamas, okay? He's clearly not capable of being a United States congressman
But he is an
anymore.
icon.
People need to step in. Now, as far as Nancy Pelosi getting hammered for being an icon, you tell me, what do you call this person before this happened? A guy who was a Korean War veteran. A guy who, when he got into Congress, was one of only 4 black members in Congress. A guy who single-handedly started the Congressional Black Caucus. A guy who was responsible for Rosa Parks laying in state in the United States Capitol. I believe the first black woman to ever be afforded that honor. He was in Selma on that bloody day so many years ago. I would call that an icon. I would call that an icon. If you're offended by that, if you're offended by Nancy Pelosi calling a man like that an icon, well, let me just say that you remind me an awful lot of the Bible thumpers I grew up with, and a lot like Jim and Tammy Faye Baker back in 1978 or 1979. Yes, he needs to be taken out of Congress. And yes, they need to rip the scab off of whatever they have in the House where they pay sexual harassment things from tax dollars, and they give the member representation, but not the accuser. And yes, he's obviously a danger to others. He's a danger to himself. He needs to be removed from Congress because he's not capable of being in Congress. And people who love him and people who care for him need to gather around him now and tell him it's time to go home. But when he goes home, it's like George H.W. Bush shot out of the skies and into the waters of the Pacific. You know what? Judge the man by his 93 years, service to America. Judge John Conyers by his 88, 89 years and his service to America, and get him out of Congress now.
It's such a good point you make, because when you're talking about men in their late 80s and early 90s, you're talking about people who are suffering from health problems. And I know I just had one of my closest friends, Diane Smith, over recently. We both recently lost our fathers, and we both had that moment where we had to go to our fathers and say, it is time to go home. It's time to go home, and be at home for a while. And the behavior of someone in that age range is just it's hard to explain sometimes, and it's very, very difficult to deal with. And it's sort of sick to inject it into this conversation that we're having. I think it minimizes it. And thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for speaking the truth. We'll be right back.
So you all saw the clip. You saw the clip. He is an icon. Let me just say that. Just from the 4 or 5 things, and everyone wants to make that so mundane. I'm sorry, I was not in the Korean War. Were you?
No.
Oh, okay. Was I one of only 4 folks in Congress back at a time when black folks weren't even supposed to be able to read, nonetheless be able to go and have a law degree and be elected to serve government at the highest level that you can serve? I'm sorry, were you there?
No, kind
oh,
of. I
okay.
wasn't
Was
there.
I able to, I mean, I can go through all the list of things, so if y'all don't think that that's enough to give him that title, then okay. I'm saying he's an icon. They're saying he's an icon. At the end of the day, that is where that is. Now, you can go and talk about all the other now politics around it. Nancy Pelosi, of course she's going to. She's trying to sustain her seat as the majority. Because some rumblings are it's a woman that's trying to take her out. And so she was going to push to be able to address not honoring women and the allegations to try to get other people to vote for her to get her out of leadership. So that's the truth of that. Always know that there's something else happening. It's always something else. And we always think it's exactly what it is versus that it's something else in someone else's agenda. What do you think about it?
I think, well, number one, I think he shouldn't step down.
Ah,
I think he should step up.
ah.
You know, they kill me always want us to step down and step aside.
Yeah.
You know, they are never adamant about Caucasian men when they do something of this nature or is accused about them stepping down.
Yeah.
They never, ever lobby for them to step down, but they want John Conyers to step aside. Now, these are supposed to be his peers in Congress.
Yeah.
They see him more than we do.
Yeah.
If there was any problems with his mental faculties, I'm quite sure this is something that would have came out along. Hell, what about the ones who ain't 88 and act worse than John Conyers?
Hey. Well, now, but what do you think? Now, this week you've had 3 congressional people sit down.
Al
John,
Franken.
yep, the guy Trent. Now he's a Republican. So you got the Republican and 2 Democrats, 2 white men now, 1 black man. So something's happening across the board, right? We're going to see what's going to happen with the run for Moore out of Alabama. We're going to see what that looks like. So I just want us to understand where the climate that we're in and what that looks like. They got to do something. So if the white men are sitting down, and you all saw what Al said, he was like, there's something happening. It's something stinking in Denmark, and it ain't the cheese. Because why am I sitting down when you got a president who has blatantly talked about what he grabs? You got another man in his 30s who was assaulting teenagers, but I got to sit down? What's happening?
And I'm glad Al brung that up.
He
I'm glad
said it.
someone
Now, he
was
used
real
his
enough to
time
say, you
to
know
say
what,
it.
let me address this, because it becomes lopsided. It becomes a witch hunt. It becomes all of that
Sure.
when you only call for certain individuals and not for everybody who's involved. Now, I don't know what's stopping them from calling for Trump's resignation or something that happened to him versus why, maybe because John Conyers, they keep saying he's 88.
Yeah, okay.
You know, number one, be careful when people start evaluating your health and your mental health and start saying what they, because the only thing I heard is what they think, and what you think may not be what it truly is.
Sure.
You know, like I said, this man has been there for over 50 years.
Yeah.
Who knows the job? I don't care if he was 900. Who knows it better than him?
Look.
He been there for 50 years.
And guess what? Maybe the bigger conversation is, why didn't we create something? Why don't we do it? Why don't we create spaces to support our leaders? So if they're the ones that are in front, where's the group that's behind them? Where are the strong folks that's behind them and on the sides of them that are watching them? You know, because see, that's our problem. We don't ever want to have that right hand. We don't groom the right hand. We don't groom the left hand. We don't groom the back of us. We don't groom people that help us along the way. So you can be the front, but I got a team. It's called team. We don't groom. So now we're at the point now where Congressman has set himself down. Now you got 2 people. So let's switch gears. We got 2 people that now throwing in their names to the race that are in his family.
His son
And his nephew.
and they already said witch hunting him, saying that he had a domestic violence
Yeah.
or he hit a woman or something to
Yeah.
that nature. She filed on him in California.
Yeah.
So they don't want Conyers there. Period. This is politically driven.
Yeah.
Bottom line, and whoever wants that seat, whoever gets it, that's where we'll begin to know where all of this come from. Watch who gets the seat. What does it matter to someone who's not from Michigan about that particular seat? Why do it matter to these congressional members that bad? They already make Congress look bad. Y'all passed the tax bill that's going to destroy a lot of us. If that ain't a call for resignation, what is?
Well, because we don't want to have the conversations. Because guess what? As the longest sitting dean, I talked about it yesterday, and callers, I see you, we're going to get to you all. Let me give you the numbers again, 313-868-0342 or 313-868-0351 or 313-868-4336. The truth is, we don't understand positioning. He's the longest sitting dean. He has seniority. He's a top member of the Judicial Committee. He was a top member of Appropriations. So appropriations is what happens when they create the budget and you figure out where all the money is and all the line items and how you have first dibs of being able to lobby to be able to get monies that come into your district. When you strip him, when he is now in that position, that person who then comes into that seat doesn't automatically get his seniority. They start from the bottom. You all? Hello? That's how it works. You don't sit here and all of a sudden you're going to come in and replace and get all the rights and privileges that his 50 years of work has. Y'all, okay, and if here we go. And if you can't do it, understand it that way, I'm going to make it real plain for you. It's like when you come into the plant. Okay? So when you come into the plant, it's plant-based seniority, then you got to start at the bottom. So whether that's you starting off at $11 an hour, whether that's you starting off with your vacation request don't mean anything because whoever's on your line has the first dibs because they've been there longer than you. Do you understand that? So you got to bide your time. You got to work your way up. You got to create a space for yourself. So we're starting from scratch, everyone, because we couldn't get it together. We have to start from scratch. And so I'm wondering now, as we're starting from scratch, do we even know what that looks like? Who do you want to see fill the space? That's what I want to hear. Call in right now. I'm about to go to the line. I want to know who do you want to see replace Congressman Conyers? You want to go first? Do you have someone? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, but I don't because he's
Okay.
been there for so long, and I've said that years ago. I said,
Okay.
well, anyone who tries to come up against him in that district
Yeah.
will probably automatically lose, even though that person may have an awesome plan,
Sure.
may have an awesome platform, engage in that particular district,
Yeah.
and if that was to happen, that same person will also engage John Conyers if
Okay.
he was to win.
Sure.
Like, hey man, I would love your a lot of your people is going to become his people because this is that district. But I really can't see no one else doing that job you can't see no one else doing something for 50 after another person did it for 50 years.
Okay.
You can't see that. So I just want to know who they want in that seat.
Okay.
Who in Congress wants that position to appropriate money to the states and whatnot,
Right.
so they could be able to begin to manipulate it away from who they try and manipulate it from. John Conyers also represents what white America used to be.
Okay.
Him being there, that's a civil rights icon.
Yeah.
So you can't help but talk about the civil rights days.
Yeah.
What made him the man? What
Yeah.
made him walk with Martin Luther King?
Yeah.
Well, it was a climate going on in America at that time where this young man had to step outside his own box and advocate for his people because we had the white fountains, the black
Sure.
fountains.
Sure.
He represents the worst of white folks sometime in America.
Yeah.
Him still being there. You going to know about this civil rights icon.
Sure.
Well, what is civil rights? You got some little white kid probably what is civil rights? What was that movement all about?
Sure.
Well, that was a movement, and now you're going to have to open up a can of worms. But if he's not there, we slowly but surely getting rid of that history. We're getting rid of everyone who was part of that, making black people great, show that black people, poor people, our Latino brothers and sisters have a way in this country. That's what John Conyers represents. And there's another brother on Congress who did the same thing. He's in Chicago. He was with the Black Panthers, Bobby Rush, Representative Rush.
Okay.
These guys represent black power.
Yeah.
Still black power.
Sure.
Black men are still electable. Positive. John Conyers has been positive up until this woman broke her confidentiality agreement.
Yeah.
$27,000, which
Right.
is a very, very low payout for a sexual harassment case.
Right.
Which, if you get the case, it was bigger than that.
Okay.
She was stealing.
Okay.
She was doing more than that, but they never mentioned that.
Well,
She
you
was
don't
doing
have to.
more
You
than
don't
that.
have to,
She
because-
was settled. It's $27,000. Ask yourself, is that enough money to make a sexual harassment suit from a congressman go away?
It was.
No.
I'll say it was. And let me just say, maybe the other issue is because she's a white woman in America. Remember, white women trump. So if you say, hello, bless the spirit of Emmett Till, do you all forget what our history is? He is but one example. All she got to say is breathe and say, he looked at me wrong. And there you go. Let's go to the line. Thanks so much for your patience. Great morning to you. Caller, you there? Ooh. Caller,
Hello?
are you there? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you talking to me, Collette?
I am talking to you. Yes. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
This is Oma Wally, and I want to give a shout out to RJ and you all in the game. It's a wonderful show. My husband watches it every day, so I hear it too. And I listen to it faithfully every day. I'm just not a caller.
Okay. Thank you.
But I wanted to comment on when you said things are not as they seem.
Yes.
Because that was very profound. Things are not as they seem. But there is one thing that's very clear. We are a psychologically sick people because there's no way that we would choose to fight a battle with a 88-year-old man for something he did 30 years ago with the trouble the world is in right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I'm not trying to advocate men should be able to take liberties with women because,
Yes.
of course, I don't.
Yes.
But that's what they do.
Yes.
And I think to pick on John Conyers is this a ploy to get us taken off the subject of where the real problems are.
Yes.
One thing is for sure, and I think this is probably one way we might be able to get some money. I hope you can hear me because it's kind of breaking up
Okay.
from my end. But one way we could, you're not going to ever get reparations from them, but one thing we could do, we could all claim that we are suffering from PTSD,
Right.
the post-slavery syndrome,
Yes.
because we're all psychologically very sick. Otherwise, there's no way that we would rejoice because a young man, one of our young men, is in prison for 38 years
Right.
or something that people don't even, people that kill people don't even get time like that.
Right.
And now we're trying to put away a man who is, he is an icon.
Yeah.
And but he's more than an icon. He's done a lot for us.
Yes.
And he could still do that. He's not senile yet.
Right.
I saw him not too long ago. He goes to my church sometimes. So he's not senile.
Right.
We're picking battles to take us off the track of the real goal, which is we're powerless and we're dying and they're trying to kill us and we're sitting here worrying about somebody took liberties with a woman 30 years ago
Right.
when the President of the United States is bragging about it.
Right.
Well, I just wanted to say that. I think we
Yes.
should get a team of lawyers, a great team of lawyers, and declare us all crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I got to say.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate your call and thank your husband as well. I mean, she hit it on the head. The truth is, we are suffering from PTSD. And a lot of people, you all really need to get that. Back in the time, whenever you are traumatized, it does not go away, everybody. You all think that it's going to go away. It doesn't. Now, you have to learn how to manage it. And then you might have triggers that bring it up for you. But at the end of the day, we are traumatized people. And so either we understand that and then determine how that shapes our narrative and what we do, because others won't.
Right.
And you make a great point. At the end of the day, outside of everything that's happened, the only thing you're going to push on and talk about is Congressman Conyers sitting down, not addressing anything from the perspective of civil rights position, because he was the only one that was there.
Yeah,
Great
that's right.
point.
That's right.
Great point.
And a lot of times too, that don't work for us to do it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This whole pendulum that's swinging like this.
Okay.
Like, why? I go back to Why did she wait so long? Now
Okay.
look at him now at 88.
Sure.
He's frail. The image alone, old man, he did something nasty. They trying to humiliate him. And here's what I want my people to understand. They are still protecting the other molesters, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they humiliate. They go to the news station,
Yeah.
but these white girls never go to the police station. They went
Nice.
to the
How's
reason
that?
why Bill
How's that?
Cosby went
Yeah,
to
yeah,
court
yeah,
because they wouldn't file paper
Yeah.
on Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
They ain't go file paper on the movie guy.
Right.
Weinstein.
Weinstein,
They
yeah.
didn't go down to the
No.
local police station and
No,
file.
no.
They didn't do that on Moore.
No.
Even in the South.
No.
They didn't even do that on Moore.
Matt Lauer, they haven't done
They
that
did
to him.
Matt Lauer,
Spacey,
no.
they haven't done that for him.
Nope.
You all remember, since Weinstein, there were about, probably at that time, New York Times reported about 34 allegations. Now it's probably up to 40, 45. I mean, it's just consistently growing and growing
But
and
that's
growing.
the climate
But it
that
shapes-
they
yeah.
have allowed to grow. And I was on the Tyrone Bynum show comes on this station, and
Okay.
we was kicking it about this one time. And I was saying how in their community, those men are allowed to grow into monsters because the women have no power in the household. So they can't check that white boy when he's fondling their daughter when she's 4.
No.
Because the daddy gonna get in the mama butt about checking his son. Don't you talk to him like that.
Yeah.
Go tell your mother to cook you something. In their household, it's so different. And because that woman has no power in there, her power only works on the outside.
Yeah.
And as if I can get with white women, I say, y'all got to stop trying to choke the world and hoping that it resonate in your house and choke your house.
Well, so let's
And
get to
hope that it don't resonate in the world.
So let me tell you, so what he's trying to talk about is this whole feminist movement. I am woman, hear me roar.
Because that's what this is about, too.
So,
This is part of
great,
that.
great point, because the white women didn't have any juice in the house.
Still don't.
And your goal was to be that Stepford wife. You were supposed to be that June Cleaver. You were supposed to be that image supporting him and whatever he says and what it is. And you all know, you can't deny it, because that was the depiction that media has shown us our whole lives. Y'all remember Leave It to Beaver, and y'all remember Happy Days, and y'all remember the Waltons, and y'all remember all these shows where the woman plays her role and she stays in the house.
She's never assertive
She don't
when it comes to their kids, when it comes to especially the
whatever
boys.
he say, whatever it is, the Brady Bunch. Remember, we're gonna bring all the family together and everybody. That's what we gonna do now. So when a white woman decided that she wanted something else, I want to do something else. I'm tired of you telling me no. I'm tired of you telling me I can't get out here and do this. Now I got to create a rah-rah. So I'm creating a rah-rah now. That was a feminist movement. And then they just added us. They added the black folks onto it. And then, and over time now with LGBTQ community. So we're adding all these other components. But the underlying factor is it was for white women trying to get some juice.
And now that has become their race card.
Sure.
Sexual harassment.
Sure. Yeah, that's the card. That's the card now.
Sexual harassment from a white woman don't stick on nobody but black men. White men get accused of it and they laugh it off. I done seen it. And they will laugh it off.
Well, did you see the president?
Yeah.
The president heard him on the conversation, say, "Oh yeah, I just grabbed him." And wait, did you hear about the last lady? I was listening to a clip. She said that they were sitting on the plane together, and he just sat there and started fondling her chest and this, that, and the other. His rebuttal to that was, "Did you see her?" So
It's the climate.
So his position was, "Well, did you see her?" So he's implying that she didn't look the way he wanted her to look, so no, I couldn't have done that. Or when they asked his new director of communications how he was with her, "Oh no, he's been the utmost, this and the other." Well, she doesn't fit his type, so he wasn't trying to talk to her. He ain't trying to holler at her. I'm just saying.
Well, that's that fake white privilege that they develop for each other. That's why when she go to the white police officers about a white man raping her, they laugh at her. They make her feel even worse because they're just like the guy. Y'all raised these boys like that. Y'all allowed y'all men and y'all can. I ain't scared to say it. White women, y'all let y'all men ruin y'all household to the point that y'all sons are sexually out of control. They can't control their loins when they around young people, younger men or women, for that fact and matter. So why do you expect us to take allegations like this so serious when from day one, white women have always lied on black men about sexual relations? They have always lied. "Oh, he raped me." But no, you went down to that slave house and got that. He ain't right.
You
You
was
just
hollering
ain't
at your
you
boy.
just
You
ain't
was
want
right.
your husband to beat you.
Right.
Because in his eyes, you is just that much over in slavery. See, I tell sisters, in slavery, the white woman was just that much over the slave. She wasn't that much over the slave.
She wasn't that much better than the slave.
And look at the psychological mess she had to go through. You got this white guy, again, the ruler of your house, having sex with other women and coming back to your bed and forcing you to deal with it. And you ain't about to do nothing because you're going to settle for this awesome lifestyle.
Yes.
Look what this awesome
Yes.
lifestyle produced in y'all sons.
Yeah.
It produced a benignness in your sons that they refuse to even recognize. I'm not saying brothers don't go through this too,
Yes.
but I just know at our community, we quicker to check it.
Well, or stay there, or we're socialized by their messaging. That's the gender socialization. If you're watching all the cartoons, we talked about it last week. And so we put our little boys in front, and everybody watches Disney, and they emulate what they see. Or they'll emulate our household. I was having a conversation. You all saw that, and Carlos, I see I'm about to get to you. You all remember that clip they showed on social media, the little boy that's like 2, and he had his hands, he had his pants sagging. And he was like, I'm the daddy. And something else was happening, and he had the stuff, and he was talking strong, and I'm the daddy. Well, he saw somebody do that. Where do you think he got those behaviors from? He had to see someone and believe that that is the image and the behaviors that you have to show in order to be the daddy. So throughout history, white men have always been privileged. They created this community. They've created our society. You've never told a white man no. White men don't know about no. No, I can't. You can't. Don't. None of that. They built this. I told you all last week. What did Carnegie tell his son? Don't trust anybody and don't even trust me. That's what Carnegie told his son. So if you understand that that's the basis of what this looks like, and then the imagery and the media that they create, and then it permeates into who we are because how they taught us, then you wonder why we're in the situations that we're in. That's why we couldn't support John Conyers. That's why to this day we still don't know who we're going to vote for. I still want to hear the names. Now, y'all, everybody was talking so much during the last campaign about who all these people should be and who should be selected and who, whatever. Where y'all at now? You don't have a opinion? You don't have a dog in the race right now? Or maybe you don't know what to do. Because Conyers has been there so long, you didn't even think about it, so you don't even know what to do. Let's go to the line. Maybe you can tell us what to do. Good morning. Thanks for your patience. Are you there, caller?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
You guys kind of threw me off.
I did. Please.
It's the Ordinary Joe.
Oh, okay, Ordinary.
And,
no,
I'm calling
nothing
you from
ordinary
Lafayette,
about you, Joe.
Louisiana.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm calling from Lafayette, Louisiana, and I want to go back to what the young man was speaking about destroying not just a politician, but a Black Panther or just a black man that stays on the block, helps everybody, does everything he can. He creates this sense of trust and security in everybody around him, not just a politician, but everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to DMX, how the media punishes him, says how many times he's been in jail. Chris Brown, how they won't get off of him and Rihanna fighting. He started the fight. Right. Wesley Snipes, how they destroyed his career. Richard Pryor, just Muhammad Ali, just everybody. They systematically tortured these guys. But the point the young man made was the legacy that they created. That's what they want to destroy. Since you can't kill them, like 50 years ago, let's destroy everything that they have done. Bill Cosby, for example, this father image that he galvanized in everybody's mind, all racial cultures. They destroyed it. Yeah. They destroyed it. Since they couldn't take all the money they gave him for buck dancing, and that's all Bill Cosby did was buck dance. We know that.
Right.
That young man, whatever his name is on your program, was right on the money. And you know I'm not into politics, but I'd like to leave you with a couple quotes from Adolf Hitler. And it goes like this. If you wish the sympathy of broad masses, then you must first tell them the crudest and the stupidest things. 4, you cannot adopt politics as a profession and remain an honest man. All right, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
We appreciate you, Ordinary Joe from Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yes, sir. Shouts out
Thank
to
you
Ordinary Joe.
Absolutely. I mean, did you all get it? That's just. It's just like, it's just right there in me. Did you? I mean.
Well, you know what? And he's
Man.
right, because that's how they built the climate. But I was watching Bloomberg TV, because
Okay.
I'm dealing with the Forex sometimes too.
Okay.
And the Japanese foreign minister was on there.
Okay.
And he was talking about inflation.
Sure.
And he said how the corporations in Japan got together to make inflation match the dollar.
Yeah.
In their country, so nobody will go broke.
Sure.
So an honest man could do it.
Yeah.
It's just they don't want honesty there. they don't want that.
Right.
You know, and if you look at the whole makeup of it, even on Congress, in our Senate, in our United States Senate, it's only one black person. Who's making the majority of decisions for everybody in this country? When it's all said and done, it goes down to the Senate. The Senate will have the last word, then it goes on to the president, right? So what I propose is that along with this slush fund we should be talking about.
Yeah, I'm doing some research about
Only
that,
they'll
so
come up with something to, just like the Catholic Church, everybody got a slush fund now.
Sure.
Be quiet. How much do it take to give away pain? You see, don't get all into the room crying about how it hurted. But it didn't hurt to take that dollar. Because even the Bible says, what does a man or a woman gain to profit the world? Yet forfeit your soul.
Your soul.
So you forfeit your soul when you take the goodies to be quiet. Or you say, oh, someone's going to get him one day.
Yeah.
No, I don't look at somebody breaking in Collette house and say, oh, somebody will get him one day.
Right.
No, we getting him today.
Amen.
So he don't break in nobody else's
about to get it on
house.
Today. Right.
But see, the other side of that's what they would ask the black woman if it was her. Well, why didn't you come out before? You know, white women have this thing. They use white supremacy at their will when it benefits them, but then they want to jump into the woman's black power movement when it's convenient for them too. They ask the sisters all day, well, why did it take you so long? But then don't ask the white girl that. Don't ask her why it took her so long.
No.
Because now she's going to have to justify. Yeah. See, they don't like justifying. Some white girls got this thing is I ain't got to justify. I said it and it is.
Well, isn't that white people? That's the privilege in America. That if you are white, again, you don't grow up with can't, don't, stop. Those aren't words that you grow up with. We grow up with the fear. They don't grow up with fear. They believe anything they want to accomplish, they can accomplish. Anything that I want to do, I can do. Anything that I want to take, I can take it. Anything that I want to have, I can have it. Period. We grow up with, you can't do that. Don't do that.
That's
you
right.
can't go there.
That's right.
You can't say that. You can't think that. You won't be that. Everything is negative to us.
Hey, I was also go this far to say, if they would, now let's just hypothetically say, if they brought these charges against someone like Bill Cosby in 1980,
okay,
Bill Cosby would have been strong enough to vehemently defend those actors. No, that ain't what happened. No, they was on dope before they got him.
Right.
Because see, that's a lot of them women. They in Hollywood. They sniff dope. They shoot dope. They smoke weed. They take pills. You going to a party, you buzzing already.
Right. And that's the culture.
That's
Everyone
the culture.
knew that's the culture.
Disingenuousness.
You
got me.
Hey,
you a white woman in Hollywood dealing in movies and everything. No such thing as getting you high.
Right.
You came high. You probably had dope in your pocket when you got to the dang on party. But then you hook up with a brother, and this happens on college campuses. You got these white girls who get pissy drunk, get with these black dudes, give them sex, throw their bodies at them, everything the black guy wanted to do, fulfill his every fantasy, then wake up the next morning, oh, I don't know what I did. And now you want the whole world to jump on him because you became a lush. And then control your loins around.
And let me just say that, but I'm gonna if that's where we're gonna stick with, shame on you, brothers. Let me just tell you, shame on you. Let me say that because you don't have any business messing around with that. I'm just telling you. I have people that I knew, I went to school with, athletes, that whole thing. Well, the sisters, they wouldn't do certain things. The black girls, they were going to hold me accountable for what I was doing. If I was going to be where I said I was or why I should do. They weren't going to let me roll through at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Didn't have to, whatever I wanted to do. I could take their cars. I could do this. I could do that. Nah. Okay. And so how'd that work out for you? Because then when that's that same one who only got you because she saw that you was going to have some money, and then after you married her and y'all had some babies, and then she divorced you, then she cleaned you out, now you mad. How's that? I'm just asking. Or the brothers that those are the ones that you hooked up with, and then as soon as it was uncomfortable, people found out about it, and she yelled rape, and it changed your life. How's that? I mean, do you not think that? Do you not see that? But the sister ain't good enough for you. That's not what that is.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something. When we used to be on the road and white girls came and we sent them home in a cab instantly.
Wait. You didn't do the Mike Tyson. You didn't do
get
the
them
Mike
up out of
Tyson?
here. No, I rolled them up out of here.
Okay.
They knew I was infamous for that. The white girls was in our camp. I rolled them on up out of here. No, because y'all too fickle-minded. A brother will give y'all a compliment, and then you don't know how, because you're not used to being told how beautiful you are like black women are. So you feel some kind of way that you was a brother might say, oh, she got a nice, well, you know how we talk. She got a nice chest. She got a nice butt. Right. Oh, I feel so dirty. You've been programmed that a compliment from a black man is dirty. When you don't even get none from white dudes. They don't even compliment you at all. And then good to go to the black, and I get so sick of this happening to brothers. You ain't slapped the white girl. You ain't take her car. You ain't take her food. It's always something sexually about them. He wants me. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants you like that.
The media portrays.
That's how the media portrays that. We want them like that. Black men want some white. Listen,
yes.
no, never.
Yes, so the standard of beauty has to be this white woman, and if she's black, she's either biracial or she's close enough. Let's go to the lines. I know we're doing a lot this morning, but that's what happens with Freestyle Friday. Those are the conversations you can have. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Collette.
Good morning, Deputy Chief.
And good morning to your co-host, 6'4".
Hey, Deputy Chief.
Yeah. Hey, look, can we go through the names of prospective candidates?
Yeah, I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to call in and say something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I knew, because, we have been talking about this. You've been talking about candidates and waiting and seeing what was going to happen next. And I said, now's his time. So where is he at?
Yeah. Well, the whole thing, let me say this.
Okay.
I looked at the list, if you will.
Sure.
And this list, to me, it clearly indicates that these folk, they're waiting in Detroit. In Detroit political circles, they're waiting, ignorant Negroes are waiting on Big Daddy to tell them it's okay. Okay? And Big Daddy is Mike Duggan.
Okay.
And Mike Duggan is waiting on the de facto mayor to tell him what the game plan is. And the de facto mayor is Dan Gilbert.
Yeah.
So we better get, as a community, if we're so ticked off about what's going on, we better get our act together, form a committee, call these prospective candidates together, sit them down, as you said earlier. Let's see where they're coming from, who they are. Let them define themselves. Let them show their body of work, okay? And then our committee, which represent the interests of the people, decide on who we want to fill that seat. Because believe me, that's what Mike Duggan and corporate are doing right now.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it any better. And stay right there. And so these are just some, again, the majority, these people weren't coming out. The article didn't say that they've come out to say they're running. The only person that I've heard that is actually saying they are running is Coleman Young. I can't imagine. I can't wait to see after the first of the year who else is going to add their name to the list. But I think most importantly, if we are not astute about anything else, we better agree to disagree. Because some folks who going to try to throw the name in, you just need to sit down. You don't need to put your name in. You need to bide your time. We need to create a different platform. Send me someplace else for you. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have a plan, then the votes will be split, and then they will get what they want. Period.
And then along with that,
Okay.
The election is what, in November?
In November.
The general election.
Sure.
And so, this election won't happen like the mayoral election with the candidates A. Because none of them had any money. The only candidate that had some serious money was Roy McAllister.
Okay.
And that's because he started earlier.
Okay.
Early. And I guarantee you, if we mess around, as some folk usually do, they won't have any money a year from now.
Sure. Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they should know the issues and the plan,
Yes.
with solutions.
Sure.
That's the bottom line.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like I say, when I'm looking at the people on council, Brenda Jones, Spivey, okay, I don't think we should be looking at anybody that's connected to Mike Duggan.
Ah.
All right?
Okay.
Especially this council.
Okay.
All right?
All
So, again, we need a committee to call these folk together,
Okay.
sit them down, find out where they're coming from, if they're serious, and listen to what they have to say,
Okay.
and move forward from there. We shouldn't be sitting down wasting time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I knew that you were going to give something for us to think about. And I know that on this show, we're going to continue to have those types of conversations to talk about what the true issues are, to talk about what the actual role of the Congress person will do. And then how then do we move forward and actually hold people accountable if that's what the people want? Because the vote is about the people.
And one of the first things we need to do, as you and I had discussed a couple of weeks ago, we need to identify and name the collaborators so there will not be any confusion on folk who are fighting for the interests of the people.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a process. Everybody get ready, because if you're not going to think you're going to get any information from any place else, you're going to get it here. So get ready. I'm excited. We're excited about it. Every week it will be a part of the conversation, because the stakes are too high, right? We don't have time to sit back and let things just happen to us. Appreciate your call, Deputy Chief. I'm going to try to get one other call in for a minute, and then we'll wrap up. Thanks for your patience. Good morning. Caller?
Good morning, 6-4 and Collette.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All I just wanted to call in and say to you guys is amen. Great show. You all always put it out there like J.D. Hill used to say. You put it out there. And I just want to tell you, Collette, you have the best show ever.
Oh.
And you all just have a great day. One other thing.
Okay.
They added Harold Ford Jr. to the list. He used to be a senator out of Tennessee. And he said some lady called, well, he knows who it is, and say he sexually assaulted her. So Morgan Stanley fired him. No questions asked. He used to be on MSNBC with Jake Carver and Lisa. So he's suing the lady, and he's going to sue Morgan Stanley. But great show, and I love it when you bring 6-4 on.
Oh, yes,
you
my
all
God.
put it out there.
Oh, thank you so
day.
much. We appreciate it. And let me just say, I got to look into that. I went to school with Harold.
Okay.
Harold and I went to University of Pennsylvania. Then he came on to Michigan. Oh, my goodness. And he's supposed to have he's supposed to be teaching at U of M. I need to look at that. And callers, I can't get to you. I'm going to give 6-4 this last minute to wrap up.
But look at this sweeping white woman power.
Yeah.
They said they basically trying to say that men in power don't need to be in power.
Yeah.
This ain't the way to get the power you think you're trying to get. This is not the door to go through.
Wow.
The lies, if there be lies.
Okay.
And I don't care if you say that I'm insensitive. I'm
Okay.
still questioning in 30 years of waiting.
Okay.
This is not the way to get the power.
Okay.
To say that because a guy is powerful, they trying to brand you because you powerful, you in a powerful position. Watch him because he might. No, that's not how all men with money think. How about that? All men who with power ain't trying to get in every woman's drawers. You got men who got money out here who is in power and love their wife, love their family, and will not go out with another woman. So I think it's equally important that we highlight the men who ain't doing that.
Sure.
Then always focusing on the men who are doing that, because then you would think they all do that. And I refuse to broad stroke all men in power because some white girls wanted to wait 30 years later because now they feel powerful.
Sure. This is what we're going to do. You all can continue to check out 6'4" and all his social media handles on Facebook and Instagram. You all know our time is up. She's coming in, so I've definitely got to move out the way. She's coming in. I want to make sure I'm timely and respectful of my colleagues on this great TV station, WHPR TV 33. Our time is up for this Friday. We pray that you are educated, enlightened, and empowered, that you got a little bit more information than you had before we started at the 7 o'clock hour, and that'll continue to fuel you for the rest of the day into the weekend until we meet again. So thank you so much for your time and your talents in the conversation. Make today amazing. See you next week.